Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. For today's viewer requested question, we've got new from Matthew Bailey at F-14 crash at Willow Grove. Great recreation of the incident. I think that was, we did a video on the Kara Holtzgreen crash in the F-14 and see if we can duplicate it in DCS, and we could, almost identically, which is interesting. This reminds me of the F-14 crash in 2000 at Willow Grove, and a link there which we'll have a look at. It would be interesting to see you guys recreate that as well. There's not as much information about it on the internet though, so there would be some guessing if you did. I was 6 at the time and was at the air show the day before the crash. I remember having the time of my life watching the F-14 do its flybys. I even got to sit in the pilot seat of the F-14 there and got videotaped by someone who worked there for some sort of training purpose video. When I heard about the crash from my father, I remember crying my eyes out, very sad. Unfortunately, those engines had those problems, but it was all a prerequisite to create a safer F-14 down the line without those problems. We'll quickly watch the video through, and then we'll talk about the crash report, and then we'll talk about the engine problem, and then we'll go and see if it acts the same in DCS.
The F-14 Tomcat weighs 76,000 pounds, but on this day, something terrible went wrong.
Okay, that's the crash. You've probably all seen that. We couldn't get hold of any NTSB or likewise, but we could get civilian reporting. We've got the Aviation Safety Network here. We've got the 18th of June 2000 at 16:38 local. It was an F-14A Tomcat. Note the A, that's probably the most important thing we're going to look at today. Sounds of Freedom Airshow 2000 demonstrating simulated wave-off maneuver. Aircraft made a right turn after wave-off. Added power, flame out of one engine. Attempts to regain control of aircraft at low airspeed. Failed. Impacted trees, and obviously there was the crash. Anything you've got to add to the details, RC?
There was an aviation photographer, very experienced, who was 200 feet from the crash site. He said that the F-14 lost its left engine while directly overhead. Pilot selected full throttle on the right engine going into afterburner. But by that time, he was already into the trees.
Yeah, that sounds exactly, everything's fitting together so far from what we found. We've had several guys look at several different sources and everything's starting to come the same way. The one thing that is very strange is demonstrating a simulated wave-off. We've had 2 or 3 sources agree that was definitely it. The aircraft made a right turn. We think that's a typo because we can see that it was clearly a left turn that he made, and we know that the video is not mirrored because we've got the the time recording down there. So maybe it must have meant a right turn prior to this, and the pieces of footage before this frame at 41 seconds don't appear to be related. Stuff like this appears to be early in the air show, and they've just cut it in, so we can pretty much ignore that. It really starts here, so somehow it starts here. He's inverted. It looks to me, we've just had someone say it might be a right roll. We think they might have meant roll instead of turn. Again, this appears to be civilian instead of professional. It looks like he's doing a slow right roll, a coordinated roll. So he's doing a slow roll, coordinating his roll in the stick, his pitch on the stick, and his rudder, which is probably the key thing here. I don't really know. We're joining the dots up here. So it looks like he's doing a slow coordinated turn. Note how we do have some smoke appear about there, but I don't think it's relevant around that area there. And then he's almost straight into the stall. What we think has happened, while using his rudder, he's slipped the plane left to oppose the right roll. And what he's done is blocked off passage of laminar airflow to the left engine, stalled to the left engine, which is what happened, unfortunately, on the F-14A. It's exactly the same thing happened here to Kara Holtzgreen. She slipped, yes, she slipped left as well with the rudder to get back on radial, if you remember. And that blocked the left engine, and the left engine went again, and the plane ended up going right, just like this. So again, that was a left engine stall. So it's a compressor stall, which is a known problem with the F-14A engine. And then at that point, he's too slow. And the thing about the F-14 when it's slow is it reacts so violent, and we'll probably see this in our simulator. Look how violently it reacts compared to other planes. It's something about those wings or something. And it's just thrown him into the ground. And as we'll probably see in the simulator, it's just dangerous like this. You cannot recover. You can see they've gone into full burn at this point, but with one engine. A, there's probably not power to get out of this, and B, it's going to give an asymmetric thrust because the engines are so far away from each other in terms of the lateral axis. So it's going to push the plane around to the right, which is essentially not going to allow it to drive. It's just going to push it around in a circle and spin it, which is, well, exactly what's happened here. I believe they do eject, but obviously it's too late. Again, like Cara Hulgreen, it's just slightly too late, unfortunately, but, you know, split-second stuff. To recap, we're pretty sure it's a left engine failure, probably due to excessive left rudder, due to a right coordinated roll, and then compensates by going into full burn on the right engine. And if you do that at slow speed, you know it will always kill your F-14, and that's probably the end of the story. Okay, we've got myself and RC, wherever he is. We're on F-14Bs, and we don't have the problem with the stalling engine like they did in the A. So we're going to simulate it by literally coming off the throttle on the left engine and then going into full power on the right engine. That's the best we can get. We've got a runway in front of us there. We've got an exaggerated run up just so we can get everything set. We're going to come in about 500 feet AGL, do a right-hand coordinated roll RC, slow roll, and then halfway during that roll, halfway over that roll, we're going to cut the left engine and then react as we naturally would. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep, we have to turn off the limiter too, remember?
Oh, right. We've got an asymmetric thrust limiter, which was put in because of this problem in the Bravo model. That one there. So we mustn't forget to do that. Limiter off. Check the throttles. We're all good. Right, I'm Oscar Mike. Okay, I'm going in at 350 to 400. Might be a little bit fast. Okay, about to hit the flight line. Okay, starting my display. We're going to go into a right slow coordinated roll. And fully inverted, left engine cuts, act naturally, whoops, right, full right. Oh, I survived. Interesting.
Yeah.
How did you get on?
I'm alright.
Okay, I had quite a lot of energy in that. I was going about 350 to 400 knots. Let's try it a little bit slower because it did look a little slow. Okay, approaching the flight line, we're going to go a little bit slower this time. We've got no information about how fast it was going, so we'll just have to try in different steps. It's going to be about 280. Initiate and keep that throttle. I'm going to start my right coordinated roll. Left engine cut.
Yo, sync rate is too high. Traffic, Tomcat, 5 o'clock, 1 mile.
Full burn on the right. I've stalled. Hey, I survived. Mine flipped the opposite way to him, interestingly. Weird. But I almost smacked there. I almost crashed. Very interesting. I'm going to try again. I'm going to go in even slower. Initiate the right slow roll. Left engine cut. Continue slow roll.
F-14.
Panic, full power on right, full power on right.
Hey, the sync rate's too high.
No, I was okay. I didn't really... No major problem for me. I got fairly slow. I think I got sub 200. That's interesting.
Something else is going on here.
Let me check my right afterburner's working. Yep, right afterburner's working. I guess I'll try even slower then. Although I don't believe that he would have gone into a turn like that, a roll like that any slower. But okay, we're trimmed out and flying along happily at 200 knots. It's going to be a bit of a dangerous roll at this speed, but going into a right slow roll. Left engine cuts.
Oh my god.
I can feel something's wrong already. Power on. Oh, I felt it almost did. I felt it almost was going to do what he did. I think it was a little bit low there. I'm going to try again. Lots of lift at this speed still. Right, off we go. Cut left engine. Slow roll. Oh, something's wrong. Recover. Full burn.
The sync rate is too high.
Ah, it's pulling left. Ooh, sort of.
I made it.
It dropped. Yeah. I don't know. Tough one, I see. Look at you going with the other one engine.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
with the Cara Hulgreen one, we got exactly the same. We followed the steps and we got exactly the same result as what happened with her aeroplane, and confirmed that the simulator did the same thing. And this, I can't get the simulator to do the same thing. I can get it to do. It will lose the left wing, but it doesn't just come down fully left. It tends to kind of stabilize itself again and levels its wing. So I don't know about that one. I don't think it's simulating as the real life happened. Or, remember, we could simply have the wrong information about the actual crash. It's almost impossible to get any information or I could be
Right, that's the
interpreting wrong.
problem.
So there could be a problem either with simulator or with my interpretation of what happened. I don't know what, but let me know your thoughts and if you think of anything else. Otherwise, I'll see you later.